You know what I was thinking the other day? I'm driving in the car, and I know when there's no wind and the sun's pumping through the main window, it hasn't been a real cold winter as such. But I've just noticed, whether it's because I'm my age, but the sun just seems so much hotter than it used to be. Like even in winter now, are you finding that, or is it our?
Well, yeah, up here, I don't know if it's because I'm up here, but maybe I don't know. I've seen a lot of people whinging about the cold in Sydney during winter. So
It's been a pretty mild winter here. It's Ubering around, just talking to people and stuff, and they say that it's been a pretty mild winter. I get that comment quite a bit, but I just noticed whether it's my inability to be able to handle the heat anymore or whatever.
Yeah.
I just don't seem to handle the sun as much as I used to.
I don't know if it's like on record as a hotter winter than usual, or haven't really looked into that. But climate change, eh?
Climate change is
a lot of people think it's bullshit, eh? This one bloke, he went to the Antarctic with his missus, and they were drilling these 8 kilometre, maybe something. Maybe it was 800 metres. I can't remember the freaking figure. It was really deep down into the core, and he was asking what they're going on about, what they're doing, all that. They said, they just check the temperature of different, parts of underneath the earth, and he said, it was actually 2 degrees hotter, like 100 odd years ago or something on average, 2 degrees warmer. And the guy goes, yeah, but what about climate change? And he said all the scientists that were there and the engineers that were there doing this drilling just burst out laughing. And this bloke's name's Dan Pena. He's like a business coach guy and kind of a mentor for business. And he said they just all pissed themselves laughing. He said, well, what's going on? What he's laughing at? And they said, it's no freaking climate change. Like, it doesn't make a shit of difference. Like, the Earth was warmer back in the day than it is now. Everyone's going on about the world just changes. That's the way it is. And our carbon footprint is not, although it's not great to dirty up the Earth, it's not changing
the climate as such.
The climate. It's not gonna, the world's not gonna blow up because of our footprint. This is what they said. I don't know either way, but it was interesting to hear him say that all these engineers and scientists laughed at him when he suggested climate change. And they said, he says he wishes he thought of what Al Gore thought of first. He goes, because he cashed in on this big climate change bullshit and made millions of dollars off it. So he goes, the only thing he regrets is not thinking of it first. But who knows? It's interesting either way. You hear so many arguments for either side of any frigging debate these days, like because of the information highway being the internet. You never know what to fucking believe. You listen to one bloke, he sounds intelligent, smart, and articulate, and you believe everything you read from him or watch or listen to, and then you watch another side of the debate, and someone debunks or refutes everything, and you're just like, shit, who do you freaking believe? You have to just kind of make a decision off your own logic, I suppose.
Whatever sounds right, I suppose. But I'm confused enough just walking out and starting the day and looking around, and that gets me confused enough, let alone just
delving into that shit.
Yeah, trying to work out whether there's climate change. The argument for both sides. I mean, some scientists say that it's definite, and other scientists say no. How are you supposed to believe anything when obviously we're not scientists? We don't know how to mathematically equate any of those sort of findings or whatever. So we've never been more connected, but never been so disconnected at the same time.
Yeah, that's very true. I found through over the last 10 or so years, 15 years, I've been interested in health and stuff and looked into it more so on a deeper level. The more I've looked into it over time, to find facts, and before I start preaching things to people who follow me on social media or my clients for fat loss and health and well-being, I find that I have to read on average about 10 or so, at least 10 or so different things, different articles, different studies, different articles on the studies, watch all different, clips on YouTube before I can get a kind of a base level of what's going on for whatever topic it is I'm researching. Because a lot of people, I think, and I've done this in the past, is the first thing you type into Google or the first thing you type into YouTube that comes up, you just consider it, someone's on there talking about it, it's true, you know? Whereas if you dive a bit deeper and then keep looking, you kind of eventually across the board of, say, just for instance, a number 10 or so articles or videos, you get a core kind of truth there. And then, there's little bits of fluff in and around that could either be proved as true later or not, you know? So I think you got to, that's not the magic number 10, but I think you got to really kind of dive deep into stuff before you can, have a decent kind of view of something.
Yeah, I still wouldn't know.
You still don't a lot of the time, definitely. I guess it's what I like listening to are people who've tried things for themselves and done the opposite a lot of times. Like for myself, when I was a vegan for a few months, and then I got a good understanding of being a vegan by being a vegan, not by reading about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You learn a lot more when you put yourself through things or live something opposed to just read about it and think you know everything. I think it's there's something you can get with the action that you can't get by just literature. Anyway.
Well, after your outrageous comment last week that Steven Spielberg was a pedophile,
I don't know if he is. I'm just hearing he is. Don't start that shit.
No, I went. I had a look at some Steven Spielberg movies that I've loved over the years, and I've come to the conclusion that he is not.
Okay. These kids are liars, then, eh? These poor kids are just lying. Who knows?
I know one thing for sure. I've got a blind pimple right on the end of my nose, and don't they give you the shits? You just see a bit of a red mark happening, but I can't pick my nose or anything at the moment. It hurts so much.
You poor thing.
Do you get those?
Right?
Do you get the
You mean inside your nostril?
Yeah.
Oh, aren't they painful?
They're shit.
Oh, squeeze it real hard, see what happens.
No.
Okay.
I have tried that, actually. That years ago I tried that, but just nothing happens.
You know what hurts? If you try and pull a nose hair out of your nose with a tweezer, that's got to be up there with one of the worst pains. It makes your eyes just water, your whole face hurts.
Yeah, it's pretty much like taking a hair out of your ass as well.
I haven't taken my ass with tweezers lately, so I couldn't tell you. But what's going on? What are you doing?
Nothing much. Just just enjoying the beautiful weather that's down here. I mean, we can say it's all beautiful weather and how sunny it all is, but on the opposite end, it's a real problem for the farmers. Pretty much most of Australia is in drought.
Yeah, isn't that suck? Like they, kind of a victim of their environment where they've grown up and where they've made a life for themselves, and it's just fucking awful to see, like the devastation that it's just causing. Like I don't know, you just take things for granted, to wake up and just to have water and
running water,
have access to healthy food and all the little obvious things that you just don't really think about. But just pray for rain for them, don't you? Like,
that's amazing. There's been like Alan Jones from 2GBs. He's been pushing the fact that the farmers should get some sort of relief from the government, and I totally agree. I mean, they gave the other day the government gave what was it, $190 million or something to help relieve the drought situation for most of the farmers, but. I mean, once you spread that around, that won't go anywhere. But he's been listening to him all the last few days, and he's getting right into the government. He's just been telling them up wherever he can.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't looked into the Australian government. I'm more interested in the American thing, which is probably really wrong of me.
You live in Australia, mate. Come on.
I know. I've got to start having a look at that stuff. But I don't know. Geez, 190 million just sounds like a lot of money. But I suppose when you're spreading that out across big wide landscape that is Australia and Australian farms, it probably wouldn't only scratch the surface, wouldn't it?
What he's going on about is what Alan Jones is going on about is that the fact that the government doesn't give grants out to the farmers that to provide fruit, veggies or whatever to all of us.
Yeah.
But AGL, the company that provides power,
gas, isn't it?
Gas and all that sort of stuff to homes and stuff like that. They have made a record profit, apparently 590 billion or something.
Yeah, right.
And the government gives them grants of something like 290 million a year.
Yeah, right.
And,
I don't. I got
he's been
no.
cocking on about that, and it's been when you hear it that explained that way, that's just amazing. The government gives a company that makes so much profit grants, but doesn't give the farmers any grants. Or it's just
Who
amazing.
knows what level of corruption goes on at that level? Who
It'd
knows?
be bullshit. Yeah,
Imagine when that kind of money's getting thrown around, and there's people in charge of handling that kind of money and where that money goes. Like,
yep.
I can only imagine. Like, you see what ego does on the level that we've kind of experienced in regards to just being on the junior footy board and what's around you, and the kind of the mentality that people have.
Yep.
In regards to staying in power and having that title and what they'll go to in terms of lies and whatever they'll do and say to stay there. Imagine on that level where that kind of money's involved,
Yeah, there'd be a lot of shit that would just, it'd be unbelievable to know what really is going on. We get little bits and pieces of things, but yeah. Did you happen to see Channel 9 Footy Show on Sunday? Erin Mullins had to apologise for some of the comments she made and a couple of the other guys made on the panel about Dave Taylor.
I saw it on social media. Yeah, I don't watch the show. Well, I don't watch mainstream TV, to be honest, just because it's never on. But I caught a lot of it, the backlash of it all, and I saw the snippet of it on, I think it was Twitter. And yeah, I don't know. She copped some people say some horrible things, like in defence of Dave Taylor, but they say the worst possible shit. Like, two wrongs don't make a friggin' right. Like, bloody hell.
No,
and when I listened to it, she didn't say anything bad about him.
No, it wasn't all that bad. All the comments weren't great, but I mean, Sterlo picked it up and said that maybe she needs to, at the end of the segment, she might need to apologise, sort of jokingly saying it.
No, it's not her fault. The friggin' the friggin' producer's fault, really.
Yeah,
that they put it on, and then they all just look. Freddie and Joel Kane sounded like the worst, if you're going to say that. And,
yeah, that's right.
And all this shit is locker room talk that Dave Taylor would probably bag the shit out of himself for, right?
Yep.
But what's wrong is putting it on national television and making a joke of it publicly for everyone else to jump on board and start laughing at him. That can cause some serious dramas. So it doesn't mean they're bad people, but it's just a little bit insensitive, I guess. But apparently the producers have just put it on and haven't really warned them. So that's just popped up on their screen and it's become the topic of conversation. And then if you listen to what Erin says, she kind of, if anything, sticks up for him a bit.
Yeah, that's right.
And I'm not, I don't know, a lot of people said some really bad stuff about Erin, like, about her and her years on the Footy Show and stuff, and about her, not knowing what she's talking about and saying all these pretty disgusting, derogatory stuff. And they're blowing up about her bullying, and then they bully her. Like, it just is fucking stupid.
Yeah,
really.
She didn't deserve the brunt of any of it. I mean,
she said the least. She stuck up for him. If anything, you'd probably bag Jolly Kane and Freddie.
And Freddie, yeah.
Yeah, and Dave Taylor, no, it's locker room talk. You say that shit to each other. When I went back from off season and I was overweight a few times there, like, I was the brunt of jokes, and I joke about myself too, and it can hurt a little bit, but it's in the locker room, and carrying that much fat, it's a bit of a choice. If you don't like it, you can lose it, It doesn't make it right. Like, I reckon it's pretty bad on the Footy Show's behalf, to be honest.
Well, it's hard. It's hard too. I mean, it's hard to know what someone like Dave Taylor's going through. I mean, he might be going through a bit of depression. I mean, you just don't know. He's put on a lot of weight, and he's playing where he's playing, the standard he's playing at, because he might have some issues generally all over the place.
Yeah, 100%, and that's why it was very wrong of the producers to allow that footage to go through. And it was wrong of the panel to make jokes about it, but to read the backlash and for Erin to cop it. When I first started reading, I was like, "Oh shit, what she said," and I clicked on it and I was like, "Fucking, she stuck up for it." Like, more than anything.
I was surprised too when I saw it. Yeah,
yeah, and then I thought, "Oh fuck, Jolly Kane, like he's ripping into him more than anyone," which is fine in the locker room. I guess in hindsight, he is a lovely bloke. Like, he's one of the special standout nice guys of football and television. Like, he goes out of his way to speak to everyone. He always, makes it his business to make sure everyone's okay. And, he's been on TV for a long time now. And he's always the down-to-earth guy. But he's just taken locker room talk to the panel of a public show. And it sounds and looks really bad. And he'd be the first to admit that, I'd say.
Where Erin's, she has tweeted an apology to Taylor on behalf of the Footy Show. That's why she's copying it. The Footy Show should actually have tweeted something, themselves. What they've done wrong is that she's tweeted herself on the behalf of the Footy Show. The Footy Show should have apologised on behalf of everything else rather than the other way around. And what made it worse was that the award is named Gutsy Player of the Week. So as soon as he's walking down, he's got a bit of a gut on him, and the heading is Gutsy Player of the Week. So they all took advantage of. The
producer's seen that footage and he thought, "Oh, that's funny. I'll add that to Gutsy Player of the Week." Yeah. And it's just gone all pear shaped. Pardon the pun. And it's just turned into a shit fight. And it's not nice. As soon as I saw it, I was like, "Oh fuck, poor Dave." Like, if he is going through some shit, like, that's just. That opens up. You know what the world's like today in social media with memes and things like that, and people saying things about being fat shaming, and whatever it is. So I was like, oh shit, that was a bit hard to watch, and I got the shits with him a little bit. It's like, what? How can you be that fucking dumb? Like, I've done some dumb shit too, but that's a real blatant kind of dumb thing a mistake to make, I reckon. Anyway, she's kind of gone on the front foot. You're right. Peter Sterling's comment at the end of that clip is saying, "Oh, you should probably apologise." It's like it's heaped it all over to her fault. Like, she edited it and put it on,
Yeah, but he was sort of realising of what she'd said, not in a serious way, but he had that inkling to think that it might be something later on.
Yeah, I think maybe the editors or the producers of the show, whoever allowed that to go through, is the one that should be in shit. And I don't know if Erin sits down with them before it and decides what they're going to put in that segment or whatever, but it's a yucky, bit of a yucky one. But look, I'm sure Dave's okay, and I believe that she really means the apology. And if anything, Joel Kane and Freddie said worse shit than her. She only really stuck up for him, so she's the face of the friggin' shit situation,
Yeah, that's right.
Unless she had something to do with what content was coming on the show. That's a different story. I guess we'll
who knows?
Later.
We don't know that. But anyway, she's apologised and hopefully everything works out okay.
Yeah, and Dave, well, mate, people were on there saying, some of them were saying like, "Oh, bad luck, he's fat." And there's a couple of journos saying, "Oh, what a waste of life and talent and what a waste of a career." And I was just stuck up for him. I was like, mate, it's not everyone's fucking obsessed with sport to the point that it's their whole life.
Did you tweet back to them? Did you?
Yeah, I wrote something like maybe someone wrote. So I won't name the name. It's a journalist, and he wrote, "This is such a shame, wasted talent, all this stuff, like just real negative on because he's overweight." And I'm like, maybe he doesn't give a fuck, mate. Maybe he doesn't give a fuck about footy like you do,
Yeah.
And it's not like he hasn't fucking reached the heights of the game.
Yep.
Like he's represented his state, and I can't remember if he played for Australia or not, but
he did.
Yeah, well, he's been a dominant force for a lot of those years, and he's going through a bit of a rough patch, or he doesn't give a fuck that much that he wants to play at a professional level. He's happy to play at lower level.
He's just relaxed. He might be just relaxing.
Exactly.
Who
gives a fuck? It's no one's business but his, So, and people say, "Oh, well, some people would die to play football." It doesn't mean that everyone who can play it should fucking, bow down and be a strict fucking perfect athlete. Like, everyone's different. Just shut the fuck up and let them be different.
Yeah, that's it. What about going from one way of looking at football players to another one? Was Paul Gallan it's his 19th NRL season next year if he decides to play. Can you believe that? It's 18 seasons he's played for.
That's fucking... What a fossil. That's unbelievable. Fucking hell. That's in the forwards too. He's played how many games has he played? It's over 300 now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's
plus all the rep games. That's fucking phenomenal, really. Honestly, in the guts there.
The way he plays the game is just very. There's no holes barred. He gets into it. But apparently, I think he's 37 actually today.
Yeah, right.
So it's an amazing feat to be in that one of the toughest arenas in the world, and to play. Think about playing again for another season next year. It's just amazing.
Yeah, well, I guess you get it gets scary towards the end if you're someone who hasn't got a lot of other interests. Like, what the fuck are you going to do? Like, he's probably
good.
an exception to the rule. He's gonna fall into a nice little media job.
Yeah, he talks well. He's smart about the game, and
he's always controversial. So it's interesting to have him on any panel, even if people don't like him. A lot of people don't. A lot of people love him because he's a voice of difference, and he's going to not sit on the fence. He's going to have a solid opinion about shit. So he'll be fine. But it's scary still. Like going from training every day from a full-time job, because when you played, obviously it wasn't full-time, was it? So you kind of had to do other things outside of the game, whereas today that's all you know, and all of a sudden you're just out in the wilderness. It's like, what the fuck do I do now?
Yeah. Well, when you consider someone like him that plays that tough sport, and then in his leisure time every now and then he wants to step into the ring and have a fight with someone and get bashed up.
Yes, he's made a good living out of severe contact, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He likes. Well, mate, he's got that build. He's robust and he's very strong and very tough. Got a real big motor, and he's made a career out of it. And he'll be able to. He said on the other day, there was a snippet on Twitter as well about him calling out Sonny Bill Williams for a fight. They'll clean up off the back of that.
Yeah, that'll be great to see and get everyone's attention. Yeah.
Someone was telling me they'd get close to $1 million
Yep.
each. I don't know if that's I'm talking shit out of my ass there, but that's what I remember hearing. And which really the whole of Australia, a big chunk of Australia, would like to see that. Sonny Bill's got not only just an Australian audience, obviously New Zealand, and obviously a world audience. Really, he's considered a bit of a freak worldwide.
Yeah, taking in the rugby union game, which goes global more so than league.
Yeah,
does.
so a lot of those fans would jump. It's a good cross promotion for that mob as well. Yep. And I'd pay to see it. I love seeing that. I'd love to see that shit. That's two very tough, supreme athletes. Slogging it out in the middle of a ring. I love that shit.
Yeah, no, he's. You talked about his motor. What sort of motor he's got? Physically, mentally, his motor is just enormous. He's just as tough as anything. Yeah.
He doesn't. Yeah, he puts himself in situations that he doesn't. He's aware that what the consequences are. It can be a loss. It can be a loss. It can be a huge public embarrassment. But he kind of weighs it up and thinks, oh well, if that's the worst that can happen, so what? He'd rather put himself in there than not. And he's yet to lose a boxing match.
He's one of the players that would have handled the game in the day of the 70s, 80s, where it was pretty brutal, 60s, 70s, 80s, or whatever. And he's the player that you could sort of pick up now and just drag across into that era, 60s, 70s, and he'd handle it easy.
I see you're saying it was tougher back in your day, eh?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Very good, mate. Mate, I reckon it'd probably suit him better with all the young, fast, supreme athletes that are coming through the grades. It's probably suit him better to, back in the day there was, like when you were playing, you played against some guys. I remember, I still watch some old footage sometimes and I see some of the guys you're playing against athletically, because you didn't have the full-time training, some people just look like mechanics or carpenters or, Cameron Smith's got a bit of that look these days, not the typical footballer look. The modern day footballer look, but there was more of it back then, and I think that I would have loved to have played back then. Bloody hell!
in my day it was, and before that as well, it was you could really tell the difference if the coach said it on a training night that, okay, forwards over here doing that, backs over here doing that. You could really tell who the forwards were and who the backs were, because the shape, the body shapes and stuff were definite forwards and roundish and a bit large and fattish, and the backs were sort of lean, mean fighting machines.
Except for you, it was a fat mess.
Yeah,
sorry, it's not going down Dave Taylor road, but it's true. Yeah, now when you look at it like a winger, you could put them in the second row and they wouldn't look out of place.
Not a problem. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but it's good. Yeah, it's good when you watch some of the old footage on the games. There's a lot more character back then. Like there was real different body types and different characters in the game, and each player had their own kind of skill set. More
Yep.
so, there was a vast kind of difference between skill sets for a lot of them. Now today, across the board, it's all a lot more even, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
You've got to be able
Absolutely.
to run, step, tackle, hit, stick, wrestle, turn and chase. Got to have agility, pretty much across the board in every position. Whereas
Yep.
back in the day, you might get a big, slow, heavy forward that just runs like a truck, straight and hard, and finds his gut and plays the ball fast. Whereas today you got forward props that are running and putting footwork on at the line, getting an offload, and it's across the board, very, very even.
The game is different, most definitely.
It's good. It's good watching both.
You watch? Do you take sleeping pills at all? How's your sleep? How's your sleeping pattern? Is it
my
good?
sleep is 100% purely a reaction to however my lifestyle is. So if I'm eating shit, going out all weekend, drinking shit, and
Drinking shit, eat
just
shit and drink
being
shit.
lazy, not exercising, I'll sleep like shit. I won't sleep till like 2-3 o'clock. Watching too much YouTube or reading too much stuff on my phone.
Yep.
It's a reaction to however my lifestyle is. But if I'm healthy, if I get up in the morning, I'll go for a good walk. I eat healthy all day, drink plenty of water. Not on my phone too much, which is hard because I run an online business. Then I find that I sleep really soundly. I get tired around about 10 o'clock and I'm asleep around about 10:30, 11, and I wake up at 6, 7 full of energy. So, yeah, it's really... But, yeah, the sleeping tablet thing, back in the day when I was struggling to sleep, more so, I was addicted to them, to be honest. I couldn't sleep without them, yeah. And, that was a real slippery slope. And I was probably for about 2 years, I was pretty full on with them, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I because there's a link now to sleeping tablets, taking them for a certain time, and to Alzheimer's.
Yes, terrific. Thanks for that. I'm looking forward to not remembering anything, which won't matter because I won't remember.
I don't think. I think there's a lot of risks now in how you look after yourself and stuff, which is related to Alzheimer's. I think general health has a lot to do whether you you don't get it or you do get it.
Isn't it amazing how you hit an age where you just start going, shit, I've got to change some shit here because like your body doesn't recover like it used to.
No, definitely not.
I remember like going out on a Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, and a Sunday night, every night drinking and bouncing out of bed on a Monday and not loving it, but getting out of bed easy and turning up to training all week and doing it all over again during pre-season, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'd come to training with that many nightclub stamps and shit all over my arms. and the thought of doing that now, even in my later years, I stopped going out altogether. You just can't do it. Yeah. You just can't recover like an 18-year-old when you're 30, you know?
Absolutely not.
No, but the sleeping tablets, mate, no shit, they're bad for you. They put you to sleep. How bad's that? You're awake and all of a sudden you're asleep.
They force you into
it shuts down your friggin' brain and you go to sleep. That is not healthy. And it stops you. What happened was when I was taking them regularly, you stop producing your natural serotonin levels that actually put you to sleep. So when you go cold turkey and stop it, I went about 2 weeks with like an hour sleep a night because it takes that long for your body to start reproducing that serotonin that it was getting artificially from a tablet. So it's fucking so dangerous. And people, I think, more so there's more awareness of it now. But I remember there was a period there during footy where prescription drugs becoming a real problem. Like everyone was relying on Valiums to relax and sleeping tablets to get to sleep, and very easily to get addicted to it, like myself.
Oh, absolutely. I've taken some natural remedies, magnesium and St. John's wort and all that sort of stuff. But it doesn't have the strength that the
it doesn't shut your brain off like those artificial things. Remember that night you came over and we had some sleeping tablets and we went down to 7-Eleven.
Still knocks.
Cronulla. Yeah, still knocks, mate. I don't know if they're still around, but I was surprised, even when I was taking them back in the day, how the fuck they were allowed to be legal, because they make you hallucinate and all sorts. I remember we had some, and we went down to the shop, the 7-Eleven, to get some chocolates and shit.
That's right.
And just watching you like walk through the friggin' shop, you had a Slurpee and you had chocolates. You were carrying that much shit, and you didn't even realise, but you just walked out without paying. I had to
why didn't you stop me?
I had to run out and look at what you bought or stolen and run back in and pay for it all. And then I remember the next day. Well, you went to sleep and you were in on a mattress on the floor. You were staying over at our place in Cronulla, and you snored that loud. Boogs just had the broom. Boogs had because you're on the floor in Boogs' room next to his bed, and he just had the broom. And every time he'd snore, he'd just hit you with the broom, like just shove you with it.
Yeah.
And the next morning, you wake up and there was just wrappers, like chocolate wrappers and lolly wrappers all around you, and you were like, "What the fuck's going on here?" And I said, "Do you remember last night?" And you had no recollection.
I know. As the day wore on, I remember little things sort of came back to me. But
how scary is that?
I know. It's a strange drug and a strange feeling. But when I remember going, I don't remember going to 7-Eleven, but I remember the bright light of the shop, and I was sort of gathering things together and stuff like that. But just to walk out, I just had no thought to think that you have to pay for these things or anything. But as the day wore on, the next day, I remember little things coming back to me, and you piece it all together. But what a strange feeling! It puts you. It's like it puts your body to sleep, but your brain still, or the other way around. Sorry, it puts your brain to sleep and your body still goes.
Yeah. That's right. There's been big news stories on it where people break into other people's houses, wake up on their lounge surrounded by food. Like they'll just go and raid the next door neighbour's cupboards. Like, that's how severe it gets. They just walk in a back door, go through the cupboards, eat. People wake up, come out in the morning, there's strangers asleep on their friggin' lounges surrounded by their food out of their pantry. How scary is that? Mate, I remember a few times when I was having it, I'd have it at home by myself, I'd think there were people talking to me. I'd start answering people in the room.
Yeah.
And there was no one there.
What were you taking them for?
And they still haven't fucking left.
They're still in there ringing.
Let's charge them rent. I was taking still knocks. Yeah.
What, just to sleep, yeah?
To sleep, like it'd get to, it turns into a real vicious snowball because, if you don't take it, it takes a good 2 weeks if you've been taking it for a long time to kind of not sleep. And I just never stopped taking it because I needed the friggin' sleep, I became reliant on them. Like any people get addicted to coffee to function and people get addicted to friggin', alcohol, whatever it is. That was my little addiction there for a while. And I've got an addictive personality too. So if I do something, I'll do a lot of it until I have a scare or something, and I go, okay. And I can stop anything cold turkey. Like I remember when I was smoking cigarettes full on. One day I woke up after a night on the piss and a lot of bungers, and my fucking lungs just felt like someone had a hand in there squeezing them together, and that was it. Since that day, I've just gone no more. So I'm good like that.
What made you get onto the bungers?
I don't know. Just everyone used to smoke them at parties, and I'd have a little bit, and then it got easier. And then it became like kind of a thing to do, something to do, and it was like a relaxing thing. And then I'd look forward to one. You know what? The favourite cigarette I'd look forward to would be the first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
First thing in the morning, get up before anything, and just have a cigarette. I got used to that. And there was a couple of years there after I finished footy in 2012. 2010 was my last year. It's the first time I retired. But about 2011, 2012, when I was doing music more so, I was really enjoying a cigarette in the mornings.
Yeah.
And and that's when after one night I had a few beers and had probably, way too many bungers for me. I wasn't really a big smoker. I wouldn't have like 10 a day or anything. I'd probably have 5 cigarettes max a day, which is still bad. But I must have had more. And I woke up one morning, like I said, just really restricted. And then from that day forth, I've just gone, never again, because it was the worst feeling not being able to breathe properly.
One of the strangest things I've seen was Daniel being so fit that he is, and he's manager of the F45 gym at Caringbah.
Yeah.
I saw him after he'd come home from work one time. His second session through the day goes from 5 till 9 or something, 5 till 8:30, and he's lighting up a smoke. I looked at him and I thought, what the fuck are you doing?
He did for a little while there, but
he's off it now. Yeah, he's not.
He got rid of it. Pretty quickly. But there was a time there where him and I would, share a dart, and it was just something to. I don't know. It was weird. It was like I guess it was like having a coffee a bit. Like,
got your mother's genes. Your mother smoked pretty heavy.
Was a pretty heavy smoker. She's cut right down. I think she actually thinks she hasn't had one for a while now.
I remember having my smoke once. I was a surf lifesaver at Wanda, and I was a nipper. I was 12 years old. Sorry, I went into the cadets, which is after 13 years old. You become a senior, 14, 15, 16, you become a cadet lifesaver. And I was staying there my parents dropped me off one Friday night to stay the whole weekend at Wanda Surf Club.
Yeah.
And a few of the boys my age, cadets about 17, got together and we went out that night. And I bought a packet of cigarettes. We got back at about 10 o'clock or something, and we were sort of laying down in the bunks. And I full on smoked this cigarette. I pulled it out. I thought it was as tough as fuck. I just had this cigarette and I unwrapped it, and I took this cigarette out of the packet, and I lit it up, and I drew it back like I was a raw smoker and sucked it right in, and thought, how good is this? And then about 5 minutes later, I got this spinny feeling.
It's the worst ever, isn't it?
Just come over me, and I vomited everywhere, and I was acting cook.
The opposite of cool. Yeah, I know.
Never again.
It takes over. The chemicals just takes over your brain, and you can taste it. It's just all in your it's the worst. It's disgusting. And then about a year ago, as someone had a cigarette, and I said, give it here, like trying to be tough, and I had one puff, mate. I can't believe I used to smoke them.
Yuck.
The taste of it was foul, and then it's one of those things. I guess when you're not doing it,
yeah.
But I'm glad I got rid of that filthy little habit.
Absolutely.
And the sleeping tablet one, but everyone's looking for some sort of outlet. Hey, so mine these days is more so health. I feel the best when I friggin' do good things for my body, opposed to being a junkie and looking for poisons to get off on or something.
I think you go through stages. It really helps when you play team sport. It gets you through that period where you know what health is about, and they drum it into you a bit. But you go through your stages. When you retire, you get a little bit sloppy and you don't eat properly. But then after 30, you become a little bit smarter, and you start taking on the things that you learned in your 20s.
Yeah.
And 40s, 50s, you realise when you look in the mirror, when you're 50, you think, I've got to do something.
Yeah. It's definitely changes as you get older. Definitely, I've noticed a massive change in how my body responds to things like, and what's scary is people get set in that unhealthy kind of junky kind of lifestyle where they're either smokers or drinkers or bad food eaters, and you fall into it where you don't really know any other way, and it doesn't, whereas for instance, I would go really healthy or really unhealthy, back to really healthy, back to really unhealthy, where I'd really notice the difference in how my body reacts each time. And after doing that enough times, you're like, shit, I don't want to do that unhealthy shit anymore. Like, I still love having a beer once in a blue moon. I'll probably go out and have a good night on the beers and, get pissy and have a good time maybe once a month.
Yeah, that's good.
It's good. I don't, and I'm not a big spirit drinker. I'll just have, I'll stick to beers, and I might have a few vodkas and sodas. But, a big majority of my life now is just being healthy, only simply because I really enjoy how I feel when I'm in the brain and also in the body.
Look, it's so easy to get caught up in the fact that you got a remote control for everything just about. You can turn music on or turn the TV on, and you can just get on your phone and then just order a pizza, and it all comes to your door. And it's very easy to get caught up in that, where you just lazily just do things as it's in front of you.
Well, I show my clients, I try and be realistic, because you can't just eat perfectly and never have naughty shit food and drink alcohol every day forever. Some people can, and that's great, but me, I'm not like that. I don't think it's realistic. So I'm about 85 to 90% of my week is perfect in regards to really healthy, nutritious food and movement. Like, I'll exercise, not nothing strenuous. Like, more often than not these days, I'll just go for a walk, lift a little bit of weights, nothing hectic, just light circuits.
Good.
And then, on a Saturday or a Sunday, I'll have a pizza or a couple of donuts or a thick shake.
Yep.
And, I'll do nothing. I'll lay around, watch some YouTube on TV or Netflix or whatever. And then I'm straight back on. Come Monday, I'm straight back on the health horse again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's balance. I think
It's a
we've
balance,
gone the
yeah.
wrong way, whereas 90% eating shit, 10% good. I've flipped that balance to 90% good, 10% shit. And it's an easy way to live. I reckon it becomes your new lifestyle, and you shop from, you find all your grocery stores, and you know what your shopping list is, and you stick to it. And it's really not that hard. It's just, making that initial change is a little bit hard because you've only known one way for so long.
That's right. There's a wonderful IGA store here where I'm staying at Summer Hill, and it's the best supermarket I've seen, bar none, out of Woolworths, Coles, whatever.
Ooh,
Aldi.
plug there for IGA. We get paid by them.
Should be sponsors. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
But it's real boutiquey, and it's got all this organic. It's got a total range of organic stuff in every aisle. You have your normal range of stuff, and then they've got the organic alternatives and all that. So it's fantastic. It's got everything in there.
What's your weakness? What do you when you cave in? Like, do you stick to it strictly, or are you picking out once a day?
If I go all day doing the right thing, by the night time I'm thinking, geez, I've had a good day. I deserve a Ben and Jerry's or something like that. I cave in it by the end of the day sometimes.
That's the biggest problem for me is the late night sugar craving. Yeah. But if you just do it for 2 or even a week of not, and you don't cave in, and if you're gonna eat something, make sure it's low carb, no sugar or low sugar, and higher fat or protein. That craving for that and that kind of druggish, junky need for that sugar hit completely goes away. Yeah, and I think it's really the worst thing you can do before you go to bed after eating a day of low carb, kind of nutrient dense foods is dump a heap of sugar into your system. It's such an insulin spike, and to go to bed with that in your system, it wreaks havoc on it makes you store fat, and it's hard for your body to get through, which is why you wake up and probably feel a little bit cloudy, and it's a bit harder to get up, and your energy levels are different. And
I think the longest I've gone with doing something properly is probably about a week at the most. And I remember feeling by the end of the week, I was starting to feel really good about it all. Yeah. And then I broke it on the weekend or whatever. But if I have a good day, by the end of the day, I'm thinking, I can slip something like this in.
Yeah. Well, it's not really a good day then, is it?
No, that's right.
Yeah, because I'm exactly the same. Like, when especially the more you do it, the more you stay in that craving circle. You've got to kind of bust through the other side by not doing it for a couple of weeks in a row. And they say 3 to 4 days is how the intense sugar craving. So if you get through that, it's a little bit less. Yep. And then if you get through, a fortnight or so, you're like way less. And then if you start saying to yourself, look, I'm going to eat good all week. I'm not going to have that shit food of night time. And you start having other snacks. I just did a big list of big Rolodex of different little snack meals and meals and snacks that don't take any preparation whatsoever as well. 50 of each, 50 of snacks that take preparation, 50 that don't. And I'll send it to you. And if you eat that instead of Ben and Jerry's, it's gonna be way healthier in the long run.
Aren't you a little organised thing these days?
Well, that's my business, so I fucking have to be. Because all my clients, that's the first thing they ask. What can I eat? What can I eat? Like they're emotional because they've given up sugar and they're going through the highs and lows of pretty much stopping drugs cold turkey. Yep. So I've got to talk them through it. I've got to help them through it. And one of the first things they all want is a fucking food. What food can they eat? They don't know. Yep. They just don't know because they've never done it. And after a month of them doing it, they all like, shit, I can't believe how friggin' simple this is. I just haven't thought this way before, and I haven't practiced this way before. And
What all this convenience has done to the human race is it's made us snackers. It's turned us into where we can see things, we can see advertisements, and we think, I want that, and straight away you're getting it now. You can do it on your phone. You can get things delivered. We've become a human race of snackers where you should just have your maybe 2 meals a day or 3 meals a day if you're lucky.
Yeah. The snack thing, the less you do it, the less you want to do it. So you can go off. I do 1 meal a day mostly through the week.
Like fasting, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't eat till like 7 o'clock. And it sounds ridiculous. It gets so easy.
Yeah, it does.
I'll get a couple of little... Yeah, if around 2, 3 o'clock I get a little bit hungry, I might have something little, which is low in carbs. and it gets me through to dinner. Then I have a big, beautiful dinner, meats and salads, and it's tasty and it's savoury and it's beautiful.
Yep.
And, yeah, obviously the sweet craving comes a little bit later, but you have something savoury again or something that's tastes sweetish without the kind of sugar and the carbs. And
there was a radio 104.1 FM, the breakfast show. What's his name? Scandalous.
Scandalous.
What's his name?
Sanderlands.
Scandalous.
Scandalous.
Scandalous. What's his first name?
He's on.
He's
not on 104.1. No, that's 106.5. That's Kiss FM.
Oh,
yeah. That's
okay.
I'm pretty sure, unless they've changed back. He used to be on 104.1 back in the day.
I should know, but
they might have changed back. I don't listen to that.
His co-host, the lady.
Oh, Jackie O.
Jackie O. She was in the paper the other day. She mentioned on the radio station she fasts and then has 2 meals for the rest of the day or whatever. And there was a big blow up. Nutritionists were she tweeted it or whatever, and the nutritionists were saying that's such a terrible thing to advertise to people. It's
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's wrong. It's
in a world full of overeaters.
It's unhealthy.
To advertise eating less and eating the right thing.
Yeah, unbelievable. You
what
should have seen
nutritionist was it? Fucking how old was he? 90,000?
No, I don't know. No, it was a younger lady that was saying this is no good for you to be spruiking this around the airwaves to people that have eating disorders to eat less, and it was totally goes against everything that's been sort of happening over the last 5 6 years.
You eat less often, and then when you eat till you're full, but you eat the right things. That nutritionist sounds honestly like a Neanderthal.
There was a number of them that were complaining about what she'd said.
Yeah, well, they got to make content, and so they need people blowing up and stuff. So maybe they purposely put those ones through on the line that could blow up. But there's an abundance of health experts that promote just what she's saying. So, and there's a lot of studies done showing that, not eating this moment you get up and then snacking and then having lunch and then snacking and then eating dinner and having dessert. A lot of them say that's a load of shit. And for our output as a species, it's ridiculous to have that much input. So it makes sense. And I've never felt better than when I've cut down a number of meals I've had to 2 or 1. And when I eat those meals, I eat a lot of the right stuff. Yeah. And my energy levels, my moods, my body fat percentage, all as a result, is 10 times better. So
that's good. Anyway, haven't you got things to do?
Yeah, I'm halfway through writing an ebook actually, which is exactly about what we're talking about eating the right thing, making the right decisions. How it's not that hard to really be healthy. It's just that we've learnt the wrong way. So it's about unlearning and relearning the new stuff.
Oh, cool. How many pages in your ebook?
I'm not sure how many pages because I'm writing it all in my notes in my phone, which goes for a kilometre if you start scrolling. But it'll be broken up into, there's 3 sections. It's about 1, knowing your body, 2, what to avoid and what to eat, and 3, movement.
Good on you. Excellent.
All very basic stuff, just because across the board, the people I speak to and my clients in general, they just don't have a basic idea, which is only because they've kind of just, fallen into some nasty habits, which is all fixable anyway. So, yeah, I'm just kind of writing this ebook that's, I'm writing it, so it's going to be very easy to understand because
good.
I'm not Mr. Scientist or anything.
You go right.
Yeah, I can write okay. I can actually write better than I can talk, to be honest.
I'm the same.
Easily to explain myself via text.
I can get more out on an email than I can talk naturally any day.
Yeah, well, I've been doing a lot of public speaking and seminars and stuff, and you do get better. It is a skill to be able to get up on stage and to speak like I'm speaking to you now, where there's kind of no bullshit and you're just chatting back and forth. It's a freaking skill because you can't not notice that there's all people sitting in an audience listening, so you kind of react that way. So the trick is, I guess, to get your message across with as little fluff as possible, and that's what you get better at it.
All right, I better let you go and do that because I've got things to do too.
Oh, do you now? All right, no worries. All right, we'll have a good one, Pa, and I'll chat to you very shortly.
All right, mate, and thanks for everyone for listening too.
Thanks a lot, everyone. We appreciate it. If you can, share our podcast. It helps us get more listeners and get some good feedback, and it helps us with I don't know, what does it help us with? It's good to have more people listening, isn't it?
It's just interaction.
Everyone just wants we just want to be loved, don't we?
Yeah, we just want to be loved, as you said, and we just want people to say hi, how you going, and we'd say the same back.
Okay. Have a good one, Pup.
See you, mate. You too.
Yeah.